What's up, guys? I got a cool tree health and planting video for those of you who want to plant trees like an arborist. My hit video on YouTube is how to plant trees like an arborist, avoiding this common big mistake. The big mistake being planting the trees too deep. But I've learned a lot since then, and I've wanted to do a video kind of following one of my own projects on my own property so that I can document the entire process, and then I throw in some extra tips that I don't have at the time of my last video several years ago. So this video is just a short snippet 2 months after planting that I'm going to cover a few details, but the full documentary, so to speak, will be, after a few years. I'll go over everything I did at the time of planting and just the little follow-up maintenance tips along the way so that I can hopefully help you guys plant trees with increased success rates and have healthier trees in the long term. All right, so hope this video helps. Stay tuned. Here's an update. June 21st, 2025. I had these trees supported after planting them so that they could put out their roots, and now we're through the spring growing season, so the root systems are developed well enough that now I'm going to remove the support off of the larger tree. I removed the support off the smaller tree several weeks ago. I kept this one on a little bit longer. And anyway, we want to get that support off as soon as we can so that the root flare can start to develop. The development of stability can be assumed by the tree itself rather than by relying on a support system. Now, a couple things I'm going to mention here. Even though, let's see here, let me get this out of here first. Get that out of here. All right. Now, even though I pruned off some of those adventitious roots pretty aggressively, you can see that this tree has survived, and it's in the hottest part of the yard, taking real intense sun. So it's not in the best conditions. It will adapt over time. These little root suckers, these suckers that are coming up from the base, we are going to prune those. We're going to get rid of those because they are not helpful. You can see that like this ground just bakes in the sun, and it's compacted just by being hit with the sun all day, every day. And there's one of my buttress roots right there, right at ground level. And so I don't have any flooded conditions of the root system. So I'm also doing Nutri-Root treatments every 3 to 4 weeks. And that really helps keep these guys from succumbing to drought stress. The smaller one's doing even better, obviously. Planting a smaller tree, they usually can adapt to their site better. This one only has one sucker coming up. I'm going to prune that off. And I'll probably do another round of root pruning here, where I'll get this one that was kind of an adventitious root that I left at the time of transplant. And this guy here, I'll probably get rid of it too, because I think my root crown is mainly down below here. But we'll see what it looks like next year. I didn't prune the roots on this one as aggressively as I did the larger one. So I pruned those little sucker shoots. And now another thing I'm gonna do, given how hot this location is I'm gonna apply more mulch. A thicker layer of mulch helps retain more moisture. And you don't want to put your mulch right up against the trunk, because other problems can get out of hand that way. But in this case, as these trees are getting established, I might break that rule just to help it get through the summer and allow that moisture stay on this soil, because this soil is just getting baked. As the tree gets older, I'm definitely going to pull that mulch away, but the root system will be more established by then. Look at all that moisture that's in the mulch itself. That's great. So yeah, mulch is like critical for newly planted trees, especially if you have them in a hot part of your yard that's getting full afternoon sun. Like I have these apple trees. People don't think about it. Moisture stress is like the leading cause of new trees dying, newly planted trees failing. Either too much water or not enough water. There's this fine line. So in this case, these apple trees are on a hill, so I don't, and I planted them at the proper depth, and I did radial trenching at the time of planting as well. Like I made my planting hole like a giant star shape with radial trenches exiting the planting hole. And then I had a compacted pedestal of soil right underneath the root flare so that the tree can't sink into the ground over time. And so I know that these are at the right depth, and so drainage is going to be great. So I'm not worried about overwatering. Now that being said, I'm still not going to overwater with a hose. Even though I know I'm not going to drown out the tree, it would discourage the tree from sending its roots out further and further in search of water. So we want to water infrequently and deeply instead of frequently and shallow watering. That's one of the worst things you can do, is to frequently and shallowly water your trees. But I'm applying a really generous thick layer of mulch just to help retain the moisture that would stay in the soil with a good rain. And that way these trees don't succumb to drought stress. They're doing okay, but the leaves are looking just a little bit scorched. And again, we don't want the stem to be completely covered. Little rodents and stuff can hide out in the mulch and could start gnawing on our stem. But also, we don't want moisture right up on the stem all the time. So we want to limit that. Now this is a little too thick of a mulching for most cases. Like, we don't want to do volcano mulching of trees. Too much mulch encourages the root system to be a little shallow. Like the roots will kind of start encircling through the mulch and can lead to problems as the mulch breaks down and goes away. You'll see like this exposed root system that has been going out underneath the mulch. So you don't want to mulch too thick in most cases, but in this case, again, I'm in an extremely hot part of the yard. And even though I'm doing Nutriroot applications, I'm still observing slightly scorched conditions, like stress on the leaves there, just from being exposed to constant afternoon heat. So until these trees get established, this is like their first year right now, I'm just gonna have an extra thick layer of mulch. Once they're more established, I'm gonna shoot to just only have 2 to 3 inches of a layer. We want our root flare to still be exposed. We don't want it totally buried. But I am gonna cover a little bit more of it, since the ground was just getting cooked. It's totally cooked. There we go. Yeah. Now, if you're not on a hill like I am with these apple trees, then you have to be even more thoughtful about how you plant. You want to plant so that that root flare is slightly above the ground. You do not want a fishbowl effect. Again, people think like, okay, not enough water is going to kill the tree. That's true, but too much water will kill it just the same, just as fast. If it has a fishbowl effect in the planting hole where the roots are just waterlogged for extended periods of time, that's anaerobic conditions. They need oxygen in order to be able to live, and they can die from overly waterlogged planting holes.